For years, talking to an AI felt exactly like what it was, querying a database. You typed a prompt, the machine retrieved information, and the interaction ended. It was highly transactional, rigidly robotic, and entirely sterile. If you tried to carry a conversation across multiple sessions, you ran into a wall. The intelligence was there, but the context wasn't. It meant reintroducing yourself, your preferences, and your ongoing projects every single day, like writing letters to an amnesiac. By 2026, user demand shifted. People stopped looking for slightly better search engines. Instead, they wanted systems capable of wit, apparent empathy, and a continuous sense of presence. Evaluating these platforms now requires looking past raw benchmark scores to measure their specific capacity for sensory and emotional immersion. The foundational layer of this new landscape is the text-driven sandbox. These are low-stakes environments designed purely for conversational ping-pong. Character.ai dominates this space by generating sharp, varied dialogue. In a single session, the system can role-play almost any persona with surprising creativity and humor. But it suffers from a fatal functional flaw. Close the tab, and the persona resets. There is zero long-term memory continuity between sessions. On the other end of the sandbox spectrum is Pi. Pi acts as a thoughtful, zero-pressure sounding board. It answers questions intelligently, but actively avoids forcing an artificial sense of friendship or emotional attachment. These text-only, memory-light platforms are perfect for rapid intellectual play. However, because they cannot accumulate shared history, they cannot provide a sustained emotional connection. Building a digital companion that remembers you over months of interaction requires an entirely different technical architecture. This schematic illustrates a persistent memory context system. It indexes 30 days of user inputs, feeding them back into the AI's response generation stream. Nomi uses this architecture. A detail mentioned on day 1 shapes the response on day 30, creating a steady, empathetic baseline. Kindroid approaches the memory problem by handing control over to the user. It allows for code-level customization, letting you define the strict behavioral rules and backstories that govern how the companion reacts over time. Then there's Replica, the legacy standard for warm, human-like dialogue. While it still offers high-fidelity empathy, its older architecture often struggles to maintain memory consistency against newer models. The integration of persistent memory and behavioral rules changes the interaction. The AI stops acting like a sterile tool and begins to simulate a personalized digital companion. The final barrier to immersion is latency. In human conversation, a delay of even 1 second breaks the illusion. Now, that delay has been eliminated. ChatGPT's advanced voice mode achieves sub-second response times by processing audio natively. It registers your breath, it detects user sarcasm, and adjusts prosody in real time. A platform called Tavis takes this a step further, merging rapid voice generation with real-time visual processing to analyze your physical presence. This diagram shows a perception model in action. It maps a wireframe onto your face, where specific geometric nodes track micro-expressions, routing data into a central hub. If facial nodes indicate a spike in stress, the system immediately shifts its pacing to match your mood. Fusing sub-second audio generation with active visual perception creates the closest digital approximation to physical human presence achieved to date. The primary test for a personal AI has changed. Emotional resonance has replaced computational accuracy as the defining metric of success. Because the market has fragmented into specialized platforms, users must now choose their tools based on a specific psychological intent. Different needs require different architectures: a creative sandbox for play, a customized memory system for continuous companionship, or a perception model for the intensity of a face-to-face encounter. Modern personal computing is defined by the simulation of empathy.